Welcome to the Make Time for Play podcast. I'm Neal.
I'm David Castillo.
And we're in person.
Dude, finally, we did it.
Yes.
We did it.
We're here in person. This is so fun. David and his family are visiting us here in southern Utah. And we said, we have to make time for play, which we did.
Yes, a lot of time.
Which was fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about some of the games we played, which were fun. And then we're like, we have to do a podcast together in person. So here we are. And it's been such a fun trip. We could just dive into a few things. First off, Dice Tower West is coming up, which is really fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be in Las Vegas.
Yes.
I don't remember the exact venue, but I mean, it's beautiful because I'll be down there for a toy show anyway, selling toys. And so when I'm done in my showroom, try to hit up Dice Tower West, show you our showroom.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
So it just happened to work out that we'll both be there. So
Nice.
We'll definitely get some gaming in, and I'm excited to play some heavier stuff. I don't know about you.
Do an episode there.
Let's stream it. Let's live stream the Dice Tower West. But, oh man, this is so fun that you're here in person. Okay. It's nice because there's no lag. You know, normally we're like, there's a little lag kind of throws us off, but
Right.
this is fun.
It's
being
good.
on time.
It's good.
Well, we should probably talk about some of the games we played.
Because every episode we like to talk about how we've made time to play with tabletop gaming with our own families, but now we've got a lot of overlap.
Well, and it was so fun because I have 4 kids, you got 3 kids. Our whole families were together. So it was kind of fun to find like the mix of games we were picking for when the kids were around and we were all trying to play something together. But then when the kids were down and it was just, the adults,
Right.
we had some other games that we pulled out. But probably all the games we played could have been played with the kids too, though. So
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But I'll start with one that I really liked. Oh gosh, now I'm blanking on the name. Squirrel Away?
I think Squirreled Away?
Squirreled Away.
Floodgate Games.
Okay, man. Okay, I had heard about this one. I think Grant Lyons Game Rex mentioned that one. And I was intrigued by it. But then when we opened the box and saw the components, that was a fun moment. So the theme of the game is you're all squirrels trying to get sets of different colored acorns, right? You're trying to get the most sets. But the really fun part is they made all the acorns like jewels, like acrylic, shiny jewel acorns. So when we opened the box and saw the acorns, we're like, ooh. I was like, man,
I think there was even like the leaning in, like the ooh.
Oh, I know.
Like,
and then we're like, we have to touch them. And we like unback. But anyway, super fun game. I love, there's kind of there's the bluffing element because you play a card that has a number of acorns and the colors on it. And so, but you put it face down so you know what it is. And then you grab the acorns. You can either be honest and grab what's on the card, or you can grab more or less or different colors and try to be sneaky. And then everybody has a chance to call you out or say
let you go for it.
Yeah, let you go for it. But the fun part, where I really liked it, was you can try to mess with people. So you can like kind of, mess with
one hand.
Yes, one hand. Some people struggled with that rule.
My wife.
but you get one hand, and so you're like grabbing them, you're dropping them, you're trying to like hold them so people can't see what they are. Super fun game. I really enjoyed it.
Well, the part that I liked was that as soon as the person before you reveals the acorns in their hand, you, if you're the next player, have the green light to go. Take advantage of people being distracted. And so I loved that part, just kind of having my card at the ready. You do have to play your card face down first. You can't just like grab.
Right.
But like as soon as I think my wife would go before me, so then I'd play my card and just grab. And then every time you guys were just like, oh, shoot, like what did he get?
Yeah, and then you're like, hey, he was being sneaky. He must be lying. But then you only have 3 tries to call somebody out. Mm-hmm. And anyway, super fun game. I love that element. I also busted that out with just my kids while you guys were gone at the soccer game, and it was such a riot. They loved it, wanted to play again. So anyway, it's one of those rare games. I feel like it's really unique, mechanically on point. I just really enjoyed it. Yes.
Really great for the normie.
The normie, the mudbloods.
The muggle.
Muggle, not mudbloods.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So anyway, that was one that I liked.
Okay, man, what else have we played? Ooh, okay. We've talked about this one before, but my son really wanted to play Battle of Hoth.
Oh, yes.
By Days of Wonder. And I didn't realize that you could combine 2 sets of the game to make this epic battle. And
we both happen to have a copy of the game, and your son brought it. I love this. He looked in the rule book and looked at the very last scenario that you could combine them. He knew we had a copy, and so he brought it so that we could combine the maps and do this epic battle. And it was awesome. I just had to jump in. It's so fun.
It's all good. We should have some B-roll showing it here.
Yes.
Just anyway, but it was, I don't know. I mean, we talked about theming in our last episode, and just it's an opportunity to become like immersed and like lost in the world of it. And it did that well. It was fun.
And such epic moments. I mean, the game's already epic, but then when you have the 2 there, it was just like the scale was so fun.
Right.
So, the Empire won, spoiler alert, but it's very on theme too.
Yeah.
One that I played before you guys came, and then we played together, that I think is worth mentioning to stay on the Star Wars theme is Star Wars Super Teams. So I did put a post out on Good Apple Games with my thoughts. I think it's just, well, I guess the game is a racing game at its core, but everybody has 2 ships, and then you can also, when you're playing with even numbers, you take 2 teams, so you'd have 4 total. And you're trying to get all of your racers, all of your spaceships across to the end planet first. And you are moving your ship, but you're also moving everyone else's ships, which sounds kind of crazy at first, but then you realize you can start sabotaging the other players by sending them into asteroid fields and onto the Maw space where they backtrack. And you have to play through your hand of 6, so you know you're going to have to play all these cards, even if it benefits the other teams. It really unique, very simple, fun. It's got a really cartoony vibe, which might throw you off.
But it worked.
Yeah.
I looked at the figurines. Normally I would want it to be real. Not that it wasn't true to the movie. You could or the movies. You can tell they were Star Wars pieces, but kind of this, cartoony.
Yeah. It's just...
It worked.
It's just...
It was good.
Simple, kind of just dumb fun, and you're just going around, you're sabotaging each other's fun moments. I just really enjoy it.
Yeah, and I guess not to be on my soapbox too much here, but I mean, when it comes to games that are simple and easy to learn, I just worry that we tend to default to games that start to rely completely on luck or take decision-making out of it. Mm-hmm. This was a great example of a game that still allows you plenty of decision-making, but it is far from being complicated or hard to learn.
Yes.
It's so approachable. And so I love that, like, gateway light.
Yes, gateway light. That's a term you're going to be hearing more. I think, and you mentioned this, and I totally agree. I think there's heavier gateway games that are kind of tipping the scale closer toward like a heavier like hobby game for gamers. But I think we need more of the light side of the gateway game, which I think this fits perfectly into that. Yeah,
I mean, at the risk of expounding on that for too long, but I think of when Azul won the Spiel des Jahres award, however that's pronounced. So I was in retail. We brought on Azul. At first, it didn't really catch on. I was like, oh man, I thought just because it won the award it would win. But it took a little bit, but it caught on. And then seeing how many just like not hobby gamers, not gaming con goers got to know Azul, I'm like, wow, that pulled a lot of people like into the hobby. There was someone that I worked with. She really loves the simple. I like a little bit more meat, and that was one that we both liked. But I wonder if that type of game like Azul, they've done their job. They've pulled everyone that they will pull in. Mm-hmm. And so now Gateway Light is the next frontier to kind of pull people to the Azuls and such. I don't know. Let's push it and find out. Yeah. I love it. Canvas Critters by Third World Studios, I think is what it's called. 3WS, I remember was their logo. But I immediately thought of my daughter because she's the artsy one in our family, and you thought of...
I immediately thought of our daughter, the older one. So
yeah, and I love it because I feel like the whole apples to apples type or Cards Against Humanity sort of people judging each other, it's kind of tired, but they do it in a really nice, refreshing way. And also done in a way where there isn't like a single judge that sits out each turn. So essentially the story is you've got, what is it, Bianca Blanco, the museum owner, looking for art pieces. And so we are going to take turns selecting a themed card. And so I guess, okay, I broke my own rule. Goal of the game is just get the most points, right? Yes. So we're trying to get the highest score. And so by helping Bianca Blanco find art pieces to go into her museum. And yeah, so when a theme is selected, everyone reaches, you grab one piece at a time from the middle, and you've got this canvas, but what's in there? There's crabs, there's rhinos, there's snakes, like these little meeple type.
Yeah.
Shark fin,
rhinos, elephants, giraffes. Yeah, and so I love that. Kind of that dexterity element, not dexterity, but you have those pieces and you're trying to create an image that ties into the theme with those pieces. Sounds really hard. I remember as you were reading the rule book, I was like, this is gonna not go well.
Because I'm not very artsy.
So. But yeah, then it went super well because you have enough shapes and pieces and colors to kind of create an image, and our daughters killed it. They were so good at it. It was so fun to watch that.
Yeah, and so we take turns presenting afterwards, and then we each have a 3-point, 2-point, and 1-point ribbon that we place face down on each other's. We just all kind of, I think it says to go one at a time. I think it's fine that we all kind of went, for it at the same time.
Speeds it up a little bit.
Yeah, and it was good.
I really enjoyed that, and in fact, my daughter asked 3 times today. Actually, she's like, "Can we play Canvas Critters?" And it's like, I don't know if we have time. But anyway, super fun game.
Sorry.
Oh,
well, the refreshing part of that is I think doing something like that under the pressure of time can be a little bit stressful. I don't really love real time. But so there is a sand timer, but it doesn't start until somebody decides that their canvas is done, their art piece is done. Then they reach in, flip it over.
Yes.
And then everyone has whatever time left. So if everyone is kind of taking their time, great. Like you just kind of have your collective speed as a group.
Yep.
Until somebody says, I'm done. Flips.
Yeah.
Love that.
Great game design because it takes that stressful element, the anxiety out of that timer going.
Yes.
A little bit. The last one that I'll mention is, and you kind of came in later last night when Aubrey and I were playing it. The next one that I want to talk about is For the Emperor by All Play, which is a 2-player kind of battle simulation type game. It's part of their tiny box lineup. So it's a really tiny game, and then you lay it out, and it's awesome. I love it. We're going to do a full review on that one. That was a review copy provided. Thank you, All Play, for the support. But yeah, you're basically 2 teams and you're trying to conquer as many of the 7 battlefields by having the highest sum total for your cards played. But each card has a unique ability, and there's some chips that you can lay out to give, kind of throw the points around. And then there's also this really cool flag mechanic where it locks in the card count per battlefield and cascades down. So once you hit 4, it locks it at 4, and then you look at 3, 2, and 1, and then it kind of locks it out. So there's a lot of strategy, super deep, in a tiny box. It plays fast, it sets up fast. I think All Play is just really, they're hitting their stride lately with these tiny box games that are there's so much game in that box. And it's really fun. And I like the theme too. It really feels like you're duking it out, and there's this battlefield, there's a lot of bloodshed, and you're like, I'm using too many cards there, I gotta go over here. Anyway, super fun. I really like that one.
Dude, yeah, that was, we didn't get to play it, but just seeing how into it you and your wife were as we arrived, that was great.
The score is 1-2, so we gotta have another one to settle that. But okay, any other games?
Yeah, it was. Oh no, I had it. Dragonella by Haba Games.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I don't really love real-time games. May have said that a few times. Probably say it a lot more times over whatever number of episodes we'll ever have. But I don't know. I like taking my time to think and just kind of do, but this one is a real time, almost slapjacky type feel, but yeah, refreshing play on it. You are, I'm trying to remember what role we are, but we're I guess thieves trying to steal from Dragonelle, trying to win goblets back that she had taken. Dragonelle is this dragon who is guarding this treasure. We don't know how she got it, but we're trying to get goblets back. And I think that's what the whole overview was.
That feels right.
Yeah. So depending on the number of players, if it's 3-player like we played, first to 6 goblets wins. And so everyone has kind of their deck of cards. All cards are 2-sided. And so, you just kind of go 1, 2, 3, flip. And then you keep playing, but you can only match like what's on top. You can only play cards that match something that's in front. But when you play the card that matches, you're flipping it over, so it's a different image. But now you slap when you believe no one else has anything left to play. And then you want to slap the right pile, because if it's a goblet on top, you slap it, you get to keep that goblet. If it's Dragonella's face, you don't want to slap it because you lose a goblet. If you play the higher level of game, you can collect keys and then unlock treasure chests with it. So I like that it has a simple version.
Yes, that was nice.
Then like level 2, level 3, which really weren't that hard. But for someone who doesn't like real-time games that much, depending on speed and all that, I thought it was fun. It brought some thinking into it, just kind of the quick, okay, we done? Okay, now which pile do I want? Just that one.
Yeah, there was a lot of strategy there, even in the real time. And for somebody who doesn't mind real time and who designs real time games, like it was really fun. I love that mechanic of the flipping it over. So it kept things moving. And then, there's a lot more decisions there, I feel like, because then you have to say, okay, can anybody go? No, I don't think so. Which pile did I slap? Yeah, there's a lot of that. So
you get punished if you slap too early and all that. So it's hard to not slap when somebody else does and they're too early and it's like, oh no.
Yes.
But
there were definitely some fun big moments, which is what you want in a real time game. So
right. I think the rules could have been laid out a little bit. It felt more complicated than it needed to feel.
Yeah, I will say that. I think for who it felt like they were targeting with that game, it felt like the startup cost was a little high, maybe to just get it, get to the point where we were at. But overall, it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, did enjoy it in the end.
Yeah,
even as somebody who doesn't like real time, typically.
Oh man, well we played a lot of games. It was so fun to have you guys here and to play in person. And we do have a topic as well that we want to cover, and we're kind of excited to talk about this because it's something that people who are in the space and board games, who love board games, we've all been there where somebody knows you love board games and like, oh, cool, let's have a game night, or you throw it out, let's do a game night. And so what we want to talk about is, how do you have a successful game night? What are the key ingredients to a successful game night? And we're just going to kind of riff off it.
Normally we have our talking points kind of prepared, but we're going for it with this one.
Do it live.
We'll figure it out.
So I think just opening up the floor for the conversation, when you're doing a game night, and this goes without saying, I feel like we talk about this almost with every topic, but it's just knowing your audience. Who is coming to the game night? Do they play games? Have they ever played games? Are they Monopoly people? Are they and managing expectations, right? A lot of people, when they hear board game, they think of these, traditional old school games, and you might be wanting to play something like Wingspan, which is way different for them. So I think that's kind of the first thing, is just knowing who's coming and maybe even asking some questions up front. Like, I think an easy one is, if they express interest, what games have you played? What are some of your favorite games? Because the answer to that question will really inform a lot of their experience, what kind of games they like, and maybe what you should plan on preparing. So
right. What do you do if you don't feel like you have a broad spectrum of games in your own collection to be prepared for anybody to come?
That's a great question. And I think depending on where you are at in your board gaming journey, you might not have a big collection. Heaven knows, when I got started, I didn't. There's a few options. At least here, if you go to your local board game store, a lot of times they will rent games to you. So that's always an option. Depending on how big of a network you have or community you have in the board game world locally, you can always reach out to people who might have good games. Those are some of the thoughts I had. But
Yeah, as I thought of my own answer to that question, is it weird to apply like a belief that I have about dating?
Why not?
For those
dating, board games, let's do it.
So I guess there was a time where I tried to always cater the first date to like the girl's interest that I'd be asking out. But after a bit, I started just doing what I wanted to do, not to be selfish, but it was like, well, if I'm looking for a partner, they've got to enjoy or at least be able to survive around things that I like doing. It's okay if it's not their best passion or interest either. So I guess, I mean, while I love including as many people as I can in gaming, like, hey, like there's also a place I want to have fun too. So if I want to throw something out that I just want to play, but just challenge them and just see like if they can get into it and enjoy it.
And I think a lot of the times they'll either sink or swim, in that situation. But here's a follow-up question to that you made me think of. What is, in your opinion, the ideal group size for a game night?
Ooh, man. I almost wonder if it just... Gosh, I hate giving an answer like that depends.
It really does, right?
But it kind of depends on why you're having the game night and a lot of reasons. So, like... I do like using game night for my own entertainment, but I also like using it for just connecting with more people in my neighborhood and in my community and just, and then, I don't know. It's just like a great way to, if somebody new moves in, that's usually the first thing that we ask. Hey, do you like playing board games or tabletop games? And the answer more often than not is yes, but then it becomes a matter of, okay, but like, are you... like Gloomhaven player or Wingspan or Azul or Uno.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you on that? And sometimes the answer is Uno's the only one I've heard of. Like, okay, we can show you the light if you want to be shown the light. Or let's play Uno. I mean, nothing wrong with it, but...
And I think what you touched on too is really important because it's like, what is your objective, right? If it really is more of like a, hey, let's do an icebreaker, let's get to know you type objective for a game night, then larger groups are probably fine. And then you're probably going to be picking more like group party games, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to get to know like another couple or family, in a more, I don't want to say intimate setting, but like just that person, it's like, hey, let's get to know you and you get to know us. Maybe you whip out something a little more, gateway or heavier. But I think it's who's going to be there, and then what is your goal? Are you just trying to have fun, or you want to get in like a longer gaming experience, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of it can depend on what game I'm wanting to play because some just max out at 4. Yeah. I do feel like a lot of publishers are starting to push it to 5 more often. But but if it can play 6, then I do like a 6-person game night because there are great 6-player games out there. Mm-hmm. But some of my favorite are limited to 4. And so for that night, when I want to play that game, then 4 is my ideal size.
So I'll never forget one time I did this. Well, I did this twice for a game night when we lived up in northern Utah. We had, we split the group. So there were 6 people that came. The game that somebody was really excited to come, they were bringing, I think it was Everdell.
Oh, okay.
They wanted to play Everdell, but there were 6 people, and I didn't want them to feel left out. So I split the group 3 and 3. And then I don't even remember what the other group played. It was something a little lighter, though, and I kind of was gauging, who in the group maybe wanted a lighter experience versus Everdell. And it worked great. I did it another time, and it didn't work great because there were, I think it was 7 people the second time I did it, and we were both playing lighter games. And I couldn't tell you what the games were, but I remembered there wasn't somebody in that other group kind of driving the experience. It was just like, I think there was 4 people in that group, and I was over here with the 3. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on splitting up a group and how to do that, or if that's a good idea or a bad idea. What do you think?
Well, I've always had that in mind as like a backup plan for the scenario where a lot of people come because, I mean, in my neighborhood, not lately just because things got a little crazy on the work side, but I try to have a standing game night every week and anyone in the neighborhood's invited.
I miss those.
But yeah, I know, I miss having you come, man. But we haven't had, we have never taken the chance to split. But I've always been concerned about that, though. But, I mean, the fact that you had a successful night is interesting.
Well, and what made it successful, though, was somebody in that group knew the game. They knew how to play it. So, and that's where I went wrong the second time, is I was trying to bounce back and forth teaching, and that didn't go well. So I think if you're tag teaming with somebody else who knows a game, that can go well. But otherwise, it's probably good to either just do something that everybody can play. It is a bummer, though, when like you're excited, everyone's geared up for a really fun, deeper 4-player game, and a 5th person shows up.
Oh, man, go away. No, I'm just kidding.
And you just lock the door.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
I never want to send anyone away.
No way,
I would rather sit out and just watch people play because I just like being around people.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy you are. I would just kick them out and say, go find a different game group. No, but that is an interesting point. Another thing I want to touch on briefly is food and snacks. How do snacks play into the ideal game night?
Man, time of day.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of my game nights are after the kids are in bed, so usually we're not. I mean, if we do snack, it's minimal. It's not expected. Sometimes people bring it, and great, we'll take it. If it's through a mealtime, I don't know.
So, what kind of snacks? So, because
not Cheetos.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So, I get really. What I would do, I'll just tell you what I would do that I thought worked well, is for our game nights we would get cookies. I think we'd do crumble or something, and we would have just like the first 20 to 30 minutes are more socializing, learning the game like people were eating as I was teaching, and then I'd say, okay, everybody. Clean up the crumbs. Go wash your hands. Yeah. Because you don't want to grime the game, right? So I was just curious your thoughts on that. Though.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't like. Yeah, even if the game is sleeved, I don't want to make the sleeves dirty. I mean, they're that first line of defense of the precious cards themselves.
Yes.
But.
And I would definitely put Cheetos at the top of the culprit list for not good snacks. Popcorn is probably up there too. Buttery popcorn.
Yeah, anything that makes you lick your fingers. Just no. Yeah, don't do that,
dude. Like wings, can you imagine?
Oh,
just like,
gosh. Yeah, I guess the only way would be I've seen like these little chopstick type things that kind of wedge in between your fingers to eat the snack. I mean, that'd be the only way I'd say. Tell me about a bad game night that you've had and why it didn't go well.
Oh, I know exactly the game night to answer that question with, and again, I feel bad, right? Well, here's another element that we'll talk about. I'll segue into that. We were playing Splendor, and then we were like 20 minutes in, which is, it's pretty deep into the game at that point. And just randomly the guy said, "Oh, sorry guys, I gotta go." And he got up, and there were 3 people, so it was like, it really killed the energy, and it was just, I think we tried to finish. And it was just weird, and I was going to have Aubrey jump in, and she was busy with the kids, and I was like, hey man, thanks for coming. I think we just ended it, so it's kind of awkward.
So make sure that, start a game, is everyone going to stick through the game?
Yes, I was going to hit on that. Punctuality as well, people showing up late. It's really hard when somebody's like 20 minutes late, and everyone's kind of waiting around, especially if it's going to be a longer game. And then making sure people can hang out, can stay for the whole time.
Right.
And probably on that note, like proactive communication to everyone who's going to attend, saying, "Here are the times." I don't know. We over-engineer everything, David and I. So this might not apply to everybody, but for me, I'm like, I always have like a little agenda. I'm like, okay, we're gonna start the teach at this time. We'll have snacks, and then the game will start here. It should take about this long. Anyway, that might be overkill for some people, but I just like it because then and to be respectful for everyone who shows up. Like you're expecting to have a full game, and that kind of helps with that. So I don't know.
Well, yeah. So I guess take these as things that we've done, and or for better or for worse. I mean, I still remember the time when I tried to get people to learn Everdell together. It's not terrible in terms of like a difficult game, but it takes time to go through that rule book. I felt so amateur for trying to get our friends to like read it. Their faces, it said it all. And so, yeah, I guess how do you determine when it's just one person needs to know how to play the game and teach everybody, or when you may tell everyone to watch like a watch it played episode or something like that to at least be high level familiar?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know that I have a good answer other than really asking lots of questions up front. But something that I always do is I send out the best tutorial video that I can find, and I say, everybody watch this. Even if you've played it, here's a good review of the game. And then obviously, this is an important thing, especially if you're doing a heavier game. It's on you to know the game well enough. Even if you haven't played it, you should have watched several tutorials. You should know the rule book really well, because there's nothing worse than that, I would say, is like somebody doing a bad teach and fumbling through the rule book and really struggling. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about, like, we're taking it back a little bit to what you said about like the agenda and stuff like that. I mean, I think just one of the most important things that I've learned through career, college, and all of that is that, like, in the context of customers and customer service, an upset customer comes from unmet expectations.
100%.
And so, I mean, but now it's a matter of either they had the wrong expectations and therefore they're upset because you didn't meet those wrong expectations, or you gave them the wrong expectations. So, I mean, we talk all the time about managing expectations. So I do think, whether an agenda may be over-engineering it for anyone watching this or not, but find some way to manage those expectations, though. That way everyone just has the highest likelihood of having a good time, because you've said this is what to expect. Yeah,
and we're touching on another point, too, that I thought of, which is know your audience. Something that you used to do at your game nights was, hey, show up, we're going to play games. Every once in a while, you'd throw out the game we're going to play, but we would usually just kind of decide together as a group. And I think that's fine when you have a group that plays together a lot. However, if you're playing with somebody for the first time, or non-gamers, or people that aren't as into it, I think it's really good to say, this is the game we're playing. Here's some resources to really prep them.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, totally. And then, I mean, even we tend to, get started right on time, so be on time. I mean, it's hard to say that in a nice way, but
the door will lock at 7 p.m. on the dot.
Right, or let them know that, like, because I think some people worry that if they're going to be a few minutes, like, oh, I might mess it up if I show up now, when they may have shown up. So maybe you want to let them know. We'll chit-chat or eat for the first 10 minutes or something, but anyway, to just, make sure people have the right expectations.
Yeah. I love that. Well, we've covered a lot of ground on that. I don't know if there's anything else to add in this moment.
No, I mean, anyone else chime in on it. I'd love to hear, how do you guys make a good game night, successful game night?
Or do you have any tales of horror about bad game nights? Those are always fun to hear too. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us this week on the Make Time for Play podcast. David, thanks for coming all the way down here and visiting. This was so fun.
To do this in person, man. Thank you. Thanks for having us. Good time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.